In the headlines, property worth millions, shops destroyed in Katsina Central Market. Police rescue 32-year-old abducted Zamfara woman after 15 days in captivity. High Court nullifies Osun State local government election. And on the foreign scene, DRC fighting resumes. M23 says ceasefire deal doesn't affect them. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. We begin in Katsina, where a fire has gutted dozens of shops, warehouses and property worth millions of naira at the Katsina Central Market. Abdullahi Ahmadi, who visited the market, reports that bundles of textile materials, rubber mats, shoes and food items were among the items burnt to ashes during the midnight inferno. The report.
During a visit to the scene of the fire incident, traders were spotted trying to clear rubble and ashes from their burnt-down shops, trying to see if there is anything salvageable. Fire outbreaks at the Fatima Baker Central Market, Katsina, is like a yearly occurrence. It could be recalled in 2021, hundreds of millions of naira worth of property were destroyed in the fire. This time, the fire was said to have occurred at midnight when most of the traders have closed for business. Traders are, however, putting the blame on electrical faults, saying frequent light outages and irregular voltage were responsible for the incident. All these shops have gone. Nothing was saved here. I was at home when a friend told me that a fire outbreak has burnt down several shops in the market at night. This incident is a predestination from God, and I accepted it in good faith. All the affected shops and the warehouse were filled to capacity with goods worth millions of naira. It was just last year, hundreds of shops were gutted in this market. In this warehouse alone, property worth hundreds of millions of naira belonging to over 200 traders were destroyed. Though the State Fire Service Department is making efforts to respond to the various fire incidences on good time, traders believed many shops would have been saved if the fire service officials responded immediately.
This Fatima Baker Central Market fire incident, we did all what we can do without a waste of time. Even though some people may like to see we found ourselves near or close to the market. Yes, of course, but we have to consider the season and the frequent fire outbreaks.
Fire incidences could only be prevented and reduced to the barest minimum if traders are fully sensitized on the need to switch off all electrical appliances before leaving the market. Abdullahi Ahmadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Still staying in Katsina, the State Police Command has rescued a 32-year-old woman kidnapped in Zamfara State after 15 days in captivity. According to the command, the woman, Maimuna Muhammad Maiturari, was kidnapped in Gusau, Zamfara State and was later abandoned somewhere in the Kurfi local government area of Katsina State, where she was rescued. Statement by the deputy spokesman for the command, ASP Abubakar Aliyu in Katsina, on Friday revealed that operatives of the command in the council who were informed of the woman's predicament rescued her from where she was abandoned. The operatives reportedly took her to a hospital where she was given medical attention. The Federal Capital Territory Administration has reassured residents of the safety of lives and property within the federal capital. A statement issued on Friday by the Director of Information, Mohammed Sule, after the FCT Security Committee meeting, assured that adequate security arrangements have been made to sustain the state of law and order. The statement further said everything possible is being done to checkmate criminal activities. The meeting discussed kidnappings in rural areas of the territory, including the Yaba axis in Abaji Area Council. The committee said security agencies have adopted proactive measures to fish out perpetrators. The Director of Road Traffic Services, on his part, gave an update on the ban on commercial motorcycles in Abuja. He said about 118 commercial motorcycles impounded were crushed in Durumi district, and another 300 crushed at Area 1 under the bridge, totaling 418. The meeting urged residents to cooperate with the security agencies by volunteering information on criminals and criminality. The Federal High Court, sitting in Oshogbo, Osun State, has nullified the just concluded local government elections in the state. The local government poll was conducted on Saturday, October 15, 2022, by the Osun State Independent Electoral Commission under the chairmanship of Segun Oladiton. Justice Ayo Nathaniel Emmanuel of the Federal High Court, Oshogbo, on Friday, declared the local government election as illegal, null and void. He also added that the election was not conducted in consonance with the Electoral Act of 2022. He then ordered the local government chairman and councillors who were sworn in after the election to vacate local government secretariats and offices with immediate effect. Reacting to the court judgment, the Osun People's Democratic Party stated its activism against the illegality of the ongoing administration of Adegboyega Oyetola has been vindicated. A first-class traditional ruler, Emir of Pindiga, Muhammad Soyaji Ahmed, has called on NNPC Limited and its partners handling the Kolmani Oil River 2 to ensure host communities are given their rights and privileges as stipulated in the Petroleum Industry Act. The first-class traditional ruler, who spoke in an interview with Trust TV at his palace, said the emirate will not condone any discrimination against people of the host community. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
The recent commissioning of oil drilling at the Kolmani River 2 oil well located in Gombe and Bauchi is a delight for the emirate and people of Pindiga, Akwa local government area of Gombe State, where the reserves were also discovered.
We are happy, and I will congratulate the people of the two states, honestly. In fact, I understand that from the perspective of the federal government, their priority is to make sure that this oil has been found, whether it is in whichever state. And that is a very welcome idea, especially in the north. So, thank God, the reason why the whole thing started is now yielding good result.
The Emir of Pindiga said his people want a true reflection of what was specified in the Petroleum Industry Act to be reflected in the agreement between the NNPC Limited and the people of the area as the host communities.
We are saying what we need is a justified method of operating. That issue of local content, we are not going to take it easily. If there is anything the people in the locality can do, there is no point bringing somebody from Port Harcourt or Lagos to come and do it here. Because that's what our people will benefit from. You bring gravels, maybe from Mambila to this place, or you bring sand from far up somewhere.
The Emir, who assured continuous cordial working relationship with the NNPC and its partners, urged his subjects to cooperate with the oil companies for smooth operations.
Oh, the hope of our masses is rising now. They would like to see a reflection in their lifestyle. They would like to see how the development, the operations of those companies we will help them. They want to get out of the poverty they are suffering now. They want to get water to drink. They want to have school for their children. They want to have cleaning for their families, and those kind of things. And for the employment of their youth, that's quite essential. But should there be any discrepancy from the part of the companies, then something may arise. If there's any discriminatory or another one-sided employment, then there will be a problem.
To maintain peace and security within the Kolmani oil field, experts believe that host communities play an important role in the success of the operations in the petroleum. Therefore, government and all other stakeholders must guarantee legitimate rights of the host community. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, Federal University of Gusau chapter, has given the federal government till 31st December 2022 to address their demands, or they would withdraw their services. It gave the ultimatum during a peaceful protest against the federal government's decision to pay them pro rata salaries in October. The report.
It appeared there is no end in sight to the current impasse between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, as the Federal University Gusau ASU chapter has issued an ultimatum to the Nigerian government to implement the agreements reached between now and 31st December 2022 or face another industrial action. To this end, members of the union and students of the Federal University Gusau embarked on peaceful protest to press home their demands. One of the students who spoke with journalists appealed to the federal government to look into the demands of ASU to prevent another strike, which he said will have a devastating impact on them.
For the fact that they've embarked on strike based on injustice or maltreatment from the federal government, they should consider it and give them what they are demanding for. Because if everything was okay, they wouldn't have gone on strike. Now we have stayed home for over 7 months, and we have resumed school now. Still yet, they have not settled these people. Now we have resumed school. They are prompting them to go on strike again, just because they've not paid their complete money. The federal government, if they value education and they value us as a citizen, they should listen to our lecturers and pay off their money.
The registrar, Ali Yusafi, who received the protesters on behalf of the Vice-Chancellor, assured them that he will convey their message to the authorities concerned.
The management is quite aware of the plan by the national body of ASU to stage this protest at various local branches. And like it has been said, today is the day for Sokoto zone, and we cannot be out of it. We have to take part. Now, it is really unfortunate that the federal government has maltreated ASU in the highest order. Because in the history of ASU struggle, there has never been a time when salaries of Vice Chancellor downward were stopped. In fact, in previous ASU struggles, salaries of principal officers, management staff, salaries of those that are on study leave are never stopped. Never.
The protesters carried placards with inscriptions such as, "Education is a right, not a privilege. Education is for all, not for selected few. The country is meant for all, not just for the rich," amongst others.
And the government has been urged to urgently tackle the problem of out-of-school children to ensure that they are able to contribute meaningfully to society. Member representing Dengue Shuni Bodinga Toreta Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, Balarabe Kakali, believes producing digital slates for the Almajiri and out-of-school children will go a long way to curb youth restiveness in the society.
The challenges, or have known the challenges, the cries of your people concerning particular social, economic, or educational problems. So Almajiri problem has been there, you know, it needs no introduction here. You know how it's been all over these years. You see little young children from dusk to dawn, roaming the streets, from Arabic and Quranic school, looking for food, in tattered clothing, looking hungry, and sometimes disease-ridden. And the society looks on, community looks on, and the government looks on. So I really decided by the demand of the people that I represent and the greatest majority of Nigerians that we work as legislators with other colleagues in both the Senate and the House of Reps to come up with a bill that will recognize, regulate, and develop that system of children in Nigeria who are out of school, whether they are Almajiris, children up north, whether they are street children, children in motor parks, children in markets, children at anywhere, even in other religious homes, so that we give them a sense of belonging and dignity and the education that they deserve. It's about digital justice and digital inclusion of the Almajiri child. The Almajiri child shouldn't be, excluded or left behind in the current fourth revolution of information communication technology. And a lot of them who graduate, we know they do a lot of things with their mobile phones and Android phones, and they are equally, quite intelligent and immersed in issues that have to do with e-commerce, content development, and some of them in cyber forensics.
Still with us on Trust TV News Update. Still ahead. Senior secondary school students in Kaduna invent Android game. Details of this and more after the break. You stay with us.
Trust TV. Document.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now let's recap our top stories. Property worth millions of naira, shops destroyed in Katsina Central Market. And police rescue 32-year-old abducted Zamfara woman after 15 days in captivity. Now, moving on to other news. With barely 1 month to the celebration of Christmas, preparations seem to be on the slow lane, unlike before, where decorations, carols, and harbingers of the season would have dotted the city centre. Noel Sampson, in this report, speaks to some Nigerians on the slow pace of preparations for the 2022 Christmas celebration. The report.
Christmas decoration is any of the several types of ornamentations at Christmastide and the greater holiday season. The traditional colors of Christmas are pine green, snow white, and heart red. Gold and silver are also very common, as are other metallic colors, hence the reasons for the decoration.
Christmas is basically celebrating the birth of Christ for the Christians, and it's celebrated all over the world. Once it's November, people are preparing for Christmas, changing their house, buying clothes for their children, going on trip and all that. It's a celebration for the Christian, for the birth of Christ.
Christ and the spirit of love, showing love to one another. I think that's what Christmas is really all about.
But the preparations seem to be at a very low rate this time, unlike the other years.
Well, I don't know. Maybe the state of the economy affected the way people go about shopping for Christmas decorations and so on. So the economy might be the most important factor affecting the mood of the celebration at this moment.
What makes it different from now to the previous time is the economy. Things are hard, things are changed, things have really changed. No money, but despite that, it's still okay.
For reasons for the slow preparations, Nigerians have been urged not to let that put them down.
Obviously, if you celebrate Christmas, Christmas is all about fun, and I love fun. I think everybody should celebrate Christmas.
No matter what you're passing through, since it's the birth of Christ and it's salvation for Christians, don't let whatever you're passing through get to you. Just celebrate, be in the celebration mood and celebrate the birth of Christ.
As Christmas celebration draws closer, people are no longer buying Christmas decoration items again, but instead they go for food items because of economic situation. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Science students of senior secondary class in Kaduna have invented a mobile game to help them and the public relax and unwind while going about their daily routines. The students say the aim is also to provide an affordable and simple game that could be easily accessed by the users. Bella Musa reports.
Mobile games or smartphone games are digital or video games played on a smartphone or other mobile devices. Games are now easily accessible on mobile phones with a large percentage of youth playing them. Mahadi and Abubakar are SS3 science students, and their love for the games motivated them to invent a mobile phone game.
Actually, we both initiated the idea of the game. You know, it was like, and we wanted to make it under the name Royal Gamers Nation as our company name.
You know, the major reason is to provide a cheap, simple game to our peers, and at the same time to serve as a source of income.
When asked about how the idea was conceptualized, Mahadi said it was derived from the games he often played.
There's this company. They're very known for making different games like Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption, Bully, and so on.
As students, coping with daily school routines and low performance of their computers were some of the challenges they faced in the process of inventing the game.
PC, you know, like the space, we had difficulty when we are using the computer. We had difficulty when it came to time management. You know, in school, you know, we had a lot of stuff on our heads. For example, our physics teacher, he wants us to memorize the laws of motions.
The game will be accessed via Play Store. We are working on it right now to make the game available on Play Store. So that process requires some methods that we have to go through, payment, fees, and some documents like that. So we are working on it right now to make the game available for everyone on Play Store, Google Play Store.
And their intention is to crash into you so that you can die. So when you are playing it on the phone, use your hand to detect the analog. This analog, use your hand, is actually more.
They also advise the youth to make use of their talent and become productive to enable them contribute their quota to the development of the nation.
You know, the situation of the country is getting more digitalized, so there's a lot of people I've seen, a lot of my friends I've seen that they have much talent into the software and all that. I think they should take upon that and try to make some revenue and all that. They should focus on their talents, and it mustn't be anything relating to software. It could be fashion design and all that. They should just set in the mind that they can do it.
The condition is in dire need of talented youths. So my advice is for these youths to channel their talents, you know, and put them into productive use.
With support from government, NGOs and individuals, innovations in science and technology by the Nigerian youth will not only make them productive, but also help the nation to bridge their existing skill gaps and help the nation boost its technological drive. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
The National Bureau of Statistics says it will be carrying out simultaneous surveys on the Nigeria Labour Force and the National Living Standard 2022-2023. The MBS disclosed this on Thursday in Abuja, and Chamunda Beng reports.
The National Living Standards Survey, NLSS, will be used to measure poverty and the living conditions of the Nigerian population, while the Nigeria Labour Force Survey, NLFS, aims to collect work-related statistics like the employment-to-population ratio, unemployment rate, and labour force participation rate. The Statistician General of the Federation, Semiu Adeniro, spoke on the planning process and implementation.
Over the past 1 year and a half, the critical staff of the National Bureau of Statistics have been engaged with colleagues from the World Bank in an extensive planning and preparation process for both the NLSS and the NLFS. This planning process has adopted the use of modern platforms and methodologies for designing and implementing both NLSS and NLFS. While the NLSS exercise largely maintained the same design as we have it in 2018-2019, the Nigerian Labour Force Survey that we are conducting now has undergone more notable changes from previous rounds.
Now for a look at the foreign scene, where fighting resumed between troops in the Democratic Republic of Congo and M23 rebels in the country's east on Friday, as the armed group said a ceasefire deal between African leaders does not really concern them. Fighting is ongoing in the west of the M23's territory around Chumba, Swagara and Bwiza. Military sources said that the M23 is reinforcing, bringing in more fighters and more weapons. The Tutsi-led M23 group is waging its most serious offensive in eastern DRC since 2012, further destabilizing an area where multiple armed groups have wrangled over land and resources for decades. Thousands have been displaced in recent weeks as DRC's army has struggled to stop the M23's advance. Many have sought refuge in and around Goma, some 20 kilometers from the front line, which the rebels briefly seized in 2012 before they were pushed back the following year. Now to sports, where Neymar has been ruled out of Brazil's next two World Cup games after an ankle injury. The 30-year-old forward was replaced in the 80th minute of Thursday's 2-0 win over Serbia after a heavy tackle from Nikola Milenkovic. Neymar sat with his face covered while receiving treatment, and pictures showed his right ankle was swollen. Right back Danilo will also miss the next two games with ankle damage. Brazil face Switzerland in their second Group's G game on Monday before playing Cameroon next Friday. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. Don't forget, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.